Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
The Maruti Suzuki S-Cross. Ever since it hit our roads in 2015, this has always been a diesel-only model. But now, with the switchover to meet BS6 emissions regulations, the S-Cross has had a change of heart and is only available now with a petrol engine. The engine in question is Suzuki's 1.5-litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, which is also available in cars such as the Ciaz, Ertiga, XL6 and now the Brezza. And like in the other cars, this one too comes with mild hybrid technology. So with this change of heart, let's find out how the S-Cross Petrol behaves on the road. Now as I mentioned, this here is a familiar engine. The 1.5-litre mild hybrid powertrain from Maruti Suzuki, as I've discovered over the years, is an extremely fuel-efficient powertrain. In fact, during an efficiency-oriented tank-to-tank run, I once got over 19 kilometers to the litre from the Ciaz petrol mild hybrid. So we know this powertrain is capable of being mighty fuel efficient. Now in the S-Cross Petrol, that efficiency will be dialed down a little bit because this is a heavier car than the Ciaz. Right, that aside, how does it behave on the road? Well, it has very linear acceleration from the get-go, although NVH is a little bit on the higher side. I really would have liked this powertrain to be a little quieter under acceleration. Otherwise, under linear acceleration, the car drives in a smooth manner, the gearbox is smooth, the upshifts are smooth. But when you demand kick-down acceleration or sudden power, that's when the gearbox takes a little bit of time to respond. But it isn't a staggering amount of delay. So when you mash the pedal, the rev counter needle is going to spin to about 3000 RPM or so, and then you get a downshift and move ahead. So the S-Cross Petrol is designed to be a more comfortable cruiser. And you know what? It definitely feels that way now, because the earlier meaty diesel torque is missing from the low end of the rev range. Instead, you get a peak torque output of 138 Nm at 4400 RPM. Now, typical of a petrol engine, that is on the higher side, and you get a maximum power output of 103 bhp at 6000 RPM. So performance in the real world doesn't feel as sprightly as the diesel models from earlier. That said, now that you've got a petrol engine under the bonnet past 4000 RPM, that's where you get some sprightly performance, and that's where the real performance of the engine can be derived from. Now the manual model, of course, will feel a little more free revving to drive, but this automatic model, it's a fairly comfortable car to be driving around in the city especially. So on the whole, the petrol automatic powertrain of the S-Cross has been designed to make this car as comfortable to drive around in as possible. And the S-Cross Petrol is also an extremely comfortable car to be driving around in, thanks also to its seats. Like earlier, these seats provide excellent lower back support. So you know, whether you're seated at the front or at the back, you're always going to be very comfortable. In fact, there's a lot of rear legroom as well in this car. But the rear left passenger here now no longer can tuck his or her feet right under the front passenger seat, because underneath there is the lithium-ion battery pack for the mild hybrid system. But like I said, whether you're sitting at the front or at the back, the S-Cross is a very comfortable car to be driven around in, because the suspension setup is also very pliant. This car has a very wide footprint, and unlike traditional Maruti Suzuki models, this here is a Suzuki global product. It's sold over the years in Europe as well. So it has a different heft to it, the way the S-Cross sits on the road. You feel very confident. The steering is very direct and engaging, and you know what, it feels very linear. So around corners, because of its lower center of gravity than an SUV and its wide footprint, the S-Cross handles very well, very predictably, and you can really carry a lot of speed around high speed bends. And in fact, over the years, I've done a couple of road trips as well in the S-Cross, and I can safely tell you that this car is great for long distance cross-country drives as well, just because of the amount of cabin space, seating comfort, and the suspension setup. So despite its change of heart, the S-Cross continues to be a commendable highway cruiser and a great road trip car. But thanks also to its compact dimensions, you really won't be out of place in the city as well.